KP classes dedicated to excellence.
This is a question from design aptitude which has been asked in the past NATA. These questions of multiple select type are generally the trickiest ones in the examination. Even if, so it's not necessary that such questions are always asked as multiple select. They can also ask you multiple choice questions wherein design principle based questions can be asked, and these questions can be a bit tricky. You have to be extra careful in answering these questions so that you get you marks without doing an error in these questions. Let us again try to follow the same approach. You can pause the video, try to take a guess, try to think what the answer according to you should be. Then we will have a discussion which you can cross check with. Choose any four most appropriate visual or design attributes which are commonly observed in the given image. So they have given an image and asking us what are the attributes of it. List of options are given. You have to select the correct option. So starting with the first one, do you find distortion in it? Distortion is something where there is a distortion of a regular form. There is a form which has been distorted to create interest in it. So this is not of that sort. It is a normal landscape without any abstractness to it. So the A for sure is not a correct option. Then you have option B, that is analogous. You see this color scheme over here. I'm sure you know in a color wheel, so I'm sure you might have studied about the color wheel and the color theory. If not, you can check out the second video of a 51-day course of the NATA preparation, NATA JEE preparation, wherein in detail we have studied all the concepts of color theory, including the color schemes and also color psychology. The color psychology based questions also which are asked in the examination sometimes. So they're asking so analogous analogous colors are those which are continuously provided in a color wheel, like for instance yellow, orange, red. So those bands, you see there's a gradient of colors which are just one beside the other in a color wheel, so that's an analogous color scheme. So B can be a correct option because there is a representation of the analogous color scheme in the use of colors. Then you have depth, the second option. So the use of colors, darker colors at the sides, and as you move towards the center, there is a use of bright colors, which obviously adds to that visual depth. It creates more depth towards the center. So depth is also visually represented in this. Asymmetry. Now technically speaking, you can say that this is not a perfectly symmetrical representation or form, but still asymmetry is not something which is highlighted in the composition. So asymmetry is not most appropriate. You can say, yeah, this is not perfectly symmetrical. You see the branches are not same on both sides. But still, that is not the representative factor. That's not the representative feature of this image. So that's the reason we are not going to select asymmetry. Repetition, do you have a repeating element in this particular composition? Absolutely yes. The branches or the trees which you see, that is repetitive throughout the layout. And then verticality, absolutely yes. There is no horizontal. If you look into the elements of design used in this particular composition, the elements are mostly linear, that too vertically linear. So verticality is something which has been provided in this particular representation. And then you have lightness and emphasis. Emphasis for sure, there is no one single element which is being highlighted. There's a particular area which is being highlighted, but not a particular element. When do you say something is in focus or emphasis? When one element is in focus. There's no one single element in focus here. Lightness can be an option because you see majority of there are no bold colors used or bold colors used to highlight few elements. There is sort of lightness in the overall composition. So this to some extent can be correct. I would personally say the most appropriate answer would be B, C, E, F. That should be the most appropriate set of four options. But marks were given in the official answer key. G also was included. So any four, you need not write G as well. So students who have selected any four options from these five were given marks. So this is the correct answer, but this also was included in the set of answer key for G, that is lightness. So that's the answer for this composition based question asked in past NATA. Moving on. Choose any four design attributes which are suitable to the given composition. Marks will be awarded only if all the answers are correct. If you select even a single incorrect option, you'll lose all your marks in such questions. Let us look into this question and see what the correct options can be. Firstly, starting with focus. For sure, there is a focus on this element which is in color, the remaining part of it is all in black and white. So there's a focus on this red triangle, so focus for sure is the correct answer. Divergent, not necessarily. There's nothing divergent, nothing diverging away in this composition. Everything is regular in layout. Then you have texture. Yes, texture is represented on some element, at least one element of it. One element is in focus, texture is represented on one element of the composition, so texture can be considered as design attribute over here. Then contrast, for sure there is contrast, there's black and white. So whenever there are compositions in black and white, in 99% of the cases you can say that there is contrast seen in it. So contrast for sure is a correct option. Movement, no, there is no visual movement generated in the arrangement of element. Where do you have movement? When the elements are arranged along a path. And if there is a movement along which the visual if there's a visual movement along which an observer passes through in the composition, so that doesn't exist in this particular composition, so movement is not correct. Then you have repetition. For sure repetition is seen. There's a repetitive use of the triangular elements in this composition. There's no foreground and background. Foreground and background is generally seen in terms of use of Gestalt's principles with black and white. That's not seen over here. Datum also is not represented. So this is a straightforward question with A, C, D, F being the 4 correct options. I know it is not very straightforward, can be a bit tricky in the examination sometimes, can be a bit confusing. And the only way to go about these questions is practice. And like I said, 51-day course will help you in this practice. Check out the details of the course. The link for the course is given in the description of this video as well. Make sure you utilize the remaining time effectively by completing your preparation for the upcoming NATA attempt. The next one, identify the type of staircase shown in the given image. Is it a helical staircase, a C-shaped staircase, spiral staircase, or a cylindrical staircase? So there is nothing like C-shape or say cylindrical, but this can either be helical or spiral. Many students are confused between the difference between a helical staircase and a spiral staircase. Is this a helical or a spiral? This can be called as a helical staircase because spiral staircase is something which has a central spine along which there is a spiral layout. Whereas helical staircase is something which is more say outwards with a central open space. Instead of having a central spine, you have the stairs aligned along a central area, central zone. So that's how it is. You don't have a central spine here, rather you have a central open space along which the helical layout is seen. So helical staircase is the correct answer for this. So remember the difference between a spiral and a helical staircase. This is a helical staircase in this question. Next one, this I would say not something which is very difficult. I'm sure most of you can answer this question. You can pause the video, type in your answer in the comment in the chat option you have below, so that we also understand that if following what we are discussing over here, that will also encourage us to put out more videos. If the arrow marks the direction of light, what will be the image of the object with the correct shadow from the given option? They're asking if the correct shadow of light is coming from here. So firstly, let us look into the 4 options one by one. If you look at this option, there is shadow at the bottom part of the window. So that's actually not even a window, it's like a box projecting out of the wall. So there's a shadow at the bottom for which obviously the light should be coming from over here, somewhere over here, not obviously from this side. So when light comes from here, shadow should fall on this face. So this for sure cannot be a correct option. The next one, B for sure can be an answer, but let us look into the other options and see if we can eliminate others. Option C, for that the sunlight should come from over here, from this face. For the shadow of the column to fall at the back of it, this should be the angle of the light. So that's not also a correct option. D, this talks about shadow on the same wall which we are talking about, but let us see of these two which is correct. Now if the light is coming from the left hand side, this particular part of the wall, should cast its shadow onto the ground over here, which is shown only in the second option but not the fourth. That also is not the correct option representing the correct shadow. For the given angle of light, the shadow is correctly represented in option B, which would be the correct answer for this question. So this is a simple observation based question wherein you can solve it by not taking a huge amount of time for sure. The next one, what is the emotion attributed that is associated with the color brown? They're asking, so this is a concept related to color psychology. For those students who are prepared with the 51-day course of ours, who has watched the second lecture of color theory, I'm sure you can answer this question very easily, because we've learnt about color schemes, color theory, the terms related to it, and also color psychology. Even in a book, it is clearly mentioned. Color psychology of different colors is listed down in the form of a table in the books. So go through our books. You can purchase the 51-day course. The books are also included in the study material is already included in the app in that course. So that will really help you in preparing and answering such questions without confusion. So brown always denotes earthy, sturdy, and rustic notes. So the correct answer will be option C. Just by looking into earthy also, you can actually give an answer. That's the color psychology of brown. The next one. This type of artwork belongs to a particular style. So they have given a picture and they're asking us the style of it. Is it Renaissance, medieval style, Tudor style, or Roman style? This picture, if you know, so firstly, so what are the elements you see over here? There's use of a semicircular arch in the painting. Other than that, you see use of perspective. You see the large vault over here, the smaller vault over here, smaller arch with a larger arch over here. So that basically denotes the concept of perspective, and I'm sure you are aware, if you have studied the history of art, which is also included in the 51-day course lecture series. I'm sure you remember that the use of perspective was an important attribute associated with Renaissance style. So this particular painting, the School of Athens, which was painted by a very famous, the name of this particular painting is the School of Athens, which was painted by the artist Raphael, who is an artist of Renaissance style. So this is actually not a painting, it's a fresco. Fresco is something where the artwork is done on a wall on wet plaster. It is an identity of Renaissance style buildings. So the correct answer for this question is going to be option A. A very straightforward one if you know the basics of art and styles of art. The next question. Identify four most visual principles in the given two-dimensional black and white composition. Marks will be awarded only if all the options are correct. So you have a list of pointers among which you have to select the correct ones. So let us first begin with so let us go through the list and try to eliminate what are not correct, and I think that way you can easily identify the correct options. Balance. This composition for sure is a balanced composition. There are three types of balance: symmetrical balance, asymmetrical balance, and radial balance. And this image is an example, a perfect example for asymmetrical balance. Even though the elements are not symmetrical about a central axis, still there is balance in the composition by use of the elements. You see the frequency of use of element. The bands are regular over here. Here it is not regular, but because you have a circle, there's an emphasis over there, which is balanced by the emptiness over here. So the complexity. So you know how the visual weight is balanced. We studied that in the first lecture of the NATA 51-day course already, if you have attended the lectures. If you have not yet done, do not worry, you still have time. Even within a month, you can complete the 51-day course. That's the best part of the 51-day course. Enroll into it at the earliest if you have not yet done your preparation for the NATA using the 51-day course. So balance for sure exists in this particular composition. Focal point, that for sure exists on the circular element. There's only one circular element that creates. So whenever there is a type of element which is unique, that will create a focal point. So B for sure is a correct option. Focus is being created. Symmetry doesn't exist in this particular composition, and I told you earlier too, whenever a composition is black and white based, contrast becomes, in most of the case, 99% of the times you can say, contrast is a feature which will be seen in that particular composition. So D will be the correct option. So depth, no, there is no visual depth created in this particular composition. There is no rhythm as such, same element repeated multiple times to create a rhythm, no, that is not seen. Foreground and background, for sure that is seen. You see foreground and background over here, the white background with the foreground of the representation of the image over here. So A, B, D, G will be the four correct options. That will be the correct answer for this particular question. Now, even though if MCQ questions are not included in an upcoming NATA exam also, but still you have to prepare, because such visual principle based questions for sure will be a part of your computer based test, even in the form of MCQ as well, if not MSQ. The last question on this series of tough questions of NATA. So I hope you are able to relate to these questions, And I would say, if you are able to solve this, it's not going to be very difficult to solve the remaining easy questions of the NATA paper. So be confident. That's going to be very important. Identify 4 architectural components that you find in the interior image of a hotel. They have given a representation over here. Might not be a completely interior image, but that's what they have stated in the question. They're asking us what features are found over here. Let us go through the options, eliminate the incorrect ones and select the correct options. Rock garden for sure is correct. You see use of rock elements to in the landscaping of it. So rock garden is a feature which you see over here. Stone walls, the walls over here, and I'm not sure if the image is very clear for you in the video. Just try to increase the quality of the YouTube video, and sure it will be visible for you without pixels. So you see this particular material, it is exposed concrete wall, so it is not stone. But so if you look into the list of options you have, so let me tell you one trick over here in the examination. If you get such questions, so which are not very straightforward and if they are confusing, before answering, read all the options first. So you have stone walls, you also have exposed concrete. Which is more relevant, you think, from the given image? Obviously exposed concrete is more relevant option. So it's not stone walls which you see. Atrium is a large open lobby, that is not something which you find over here. Cantilevers for sure is a feature which you see. Cantilevers are the projections which you find in buildings. So the projecting portions can be termed as cantilevers. Skylight, not particularly seen in this particular image. Helical staircase also is not represented. Deck for sure. So the opening, the seating area which you have, that itself is basically a sitting deck. So A, D, E, H. A, D, E, H will be the correct answer for this particular question of the past NATA paper. Hope the explanation was clear for you. Any further doubts you have, you can always reach out to us. The contact numbers of ours is given in the description of the video. The link for the 51-day course is also included in the description of this video. Do not forget to check out the video. Keep subscribed, stay subscribed to this YouTube channel to get further practice questions of practice question series for the upcoming NATA preparation. Thank you everyone for watching this video.